Well, here we are, sooner than I anticipated even. Having the freedom to play this game without a longer commitment is great, not gonna lie. Although I know it won't last forever since I do have plans for other series already planned out, but anyway, welcome back to Nocturne Fusion, the series that will eventually ensnare my soul. After our visit to the assembly of Nihilo, I rush to the Mantra HQ in Ikebukuro. We find, oddly enough, Chiaki in here, where she drops the ball about wanting to create her own perfect world, Yosuga, a world where the strongest ones will thrive. So she sets off to collect Magatsuhi to make it all happen. As we head in, we see demons all around losing strength fast. Wish that would be the case for random encounters, though. As I head for the basement floor, we have a small run-in with Isamu leaving his cell. Disappointed that we couldn't find Mr. Cow in Nihilo, he decided to head for Kabukicho Prison to find a mannequin that can foresee the future. We'll go there soon, but first, I roam the HQ for some new accessible chests, recruit an Oni for some extra muscle, and meet Gozu Tenno, which has definitely seen better days. Because of the nightmare system, he is rapidly dying, and prophesies that the one worthy of inheriting his power will come soon. Then curses Ikawa's plan and crumbles. On our way out, we meet Thor, stating that he leaves. This foreshadows me the fact that we'll see him again later on, that's for sure. I take the east exit on the first floor to get out, and the flames of the candelabrum flicker, meaning there's an upcoming Fiend fight. This one unlocks only if you've beaten Dice Sojo, and in order to prepare myself, I make a party of Eligor, this, and Kappa Tengu to make sure I can cover fire and wind resistances, although I kept the Narukami Magatama. That's a big mistake. I wait for the new moon and find the demon on the highway, Hell Biker. The first few attempts go literally down the drain, as Ghost Rider over here has a good variety of attacks. He has a normal attack, Hell Spin that hits the party for physical damage, Hell Exhaust, a wind-based party attack that also removes all of my buffs. And this is just his phase 1, by the way. More often than not, he one-rounds this or Kappa, leaving me down a member, and I take way too much damage overall. He also has the Kunda, so debuffs are not that great, although he doesn't use it always and I may exploit that, but it's a bit too RNG to rely on it and make a strategy. My first 2 attempts went in failure, way before I could reach phase 2, and at the third I got to phase 2 only to die immediately after off a lucky crit. I give it another try, but it went horribly. So for the next one, I decided to equip the Kamuto Magatama for physical defense, and around the 6th attempt, I finally get lucky. He opens up with L Exhaust, losing the second turn because of Kappa's wind resistance. Then I debuff a little bit his agility to dodge better, pass turns with Kappa Tengu, heal with this, and abuse Dark Might with Eligor, and then go on the offensive. The fight is a mix between getting back on my feet, attacking, even though it's really not all that easy since I do lack a party healing spell that can match Biker's DPS. Medea on me isn't really gonna cut it. Kappa and Diz go down a few times. Myself and Algor can tank a few hits, but that's not gonna last forever. Every time it uses Hell Exhaust, I know for a fact I have a better opening, so I must exploit it. Luckily, on this attempt, Biker used it more often, so I could deliver the pain. After a few more resurrections of Diz and Kappa, I finally get to phase 2, where he gets 2 more moves. Hell Throttle, which sacrifices a turn for 3 half turn icons, and Hell Burner, a fire-based party damage, which Diz can drain. But he always does this after Hell Exhaust. Luckily for me, he does them 1 each since both are blocked or dodged. I should also mention that it only has 1 agility buff on it, and doesn't really want to use the Kunda for some reason. With more back and forth, I replaced the fallen Kappa Tengu with Guishan for some added power and tankiness. He finally uses the Kunda, but at the very next turn, Algor finally takes it out. I level up and replace Heat Wave, since I don't really use it all that often, with Might, a passive skill that boosts my crit chance. Also, this changes Makajam to Wine Party, a skill that helps Demon Negotiation, and Guishan gets Ice Breath instead of Flatter. I get Biker's Candelabrum, breathe a big sigh of relief, and carry on to Kabukicho Prison. Or, as I call it, Electric Demon Hell. If you have demons weak to electricity, you will have a bad time. And as it so happens, 2 of my strongest demons, Eligor and Guishan, are both weak to that. Arbaki too, now that I think about it. I keep the Narukami Magatama on me all the time, and find a snake demon vanishing in front of a wall. After hearing some screams from some prisoners I can't see for some reason, I go back to that spot, kill the demon, and get the Umugi Stone, allowing me to enter the Mirage Dimension. The way this dungeon works is by interacting with the normal layout of the prison and the Mirage Dimension, which is kind of an upside down version of the normal one. To move forward, in order to get new demons, I reluctantly say goodbye to the awesome Hua Po. But I find it hard to recruit demons in here. I'm either too low leveled or I can't communicate with them, which is a shame because one of the demons I wanted is Raiju, an electric demon that unfortunately I can't communicate with. After a bit, I find the mannequin asking me to find a new spoon to make a hole on the floor. Okay. From the collector mannequin, deeper in the prison. On my way, I could recruit the snake demon Naga, which only has Tarukaja and Drain Attack, a passive ability that heals him when he uses the normal attack, but can also learn Zionga if trained, although I probably won't train him, we'll still have to see about that. And I drop Incubus for more room. I find the collector, he gives me the spoon, and I head back to the other mannequin. He uses the spoon to open a hole, and now I can head to the end of the dungeon. On the way, a Pisaka joins me by giving it a chakra drop. He does have Sukunda, but unfortunately I won't have much use for it. I'll probably drop it. You'll see why I do this when I get around the extra dungeon's 2nd floor. I get to the top area of the dungeon, but before heading to the boss room, I decided to grind at least until level 34. This in order to recruit another demon, that being Mizuchi, a water snake-like demon which drains electricity, nulls ice and dark, weak to fire, has access to Bufula, Mabufula, but most importantly, Makakaja. I finally have a magic damage buff available. I ingest the Wadatsumi Magatama, party up with this, Mizuchi and Arahabaki, and I enter the boss room where I find a giant Mizuchi. This fight can be pretty RNG. He always moves first and uses a move called Mirage, an almighty attack with a high chance of panic. If I can avoid getting it, I can heal with Sacred Water, but if I do get panic, I have a 50-50 chance of failing. Luckily, for the first turn I'm not hit, so I immediately heal the party and start attacking and debuffing. The gimmick of this fight is that the more HP it has, the stronger are its attacks, so dealing tons of damage to it each turn is very recommended, and ice resistance is a must, since when it has a high HP, it has access to high tier magic like Mabuhudine and Glacial Blast. But as the fight progresses and it takes more damage, it will become smaller, which is hilarious by the way, and it will use lower tiers of magic, making the fight a lot easier. It can use the Kunda, but it doesn't use it too often, so don't be afraid of using debuffs. Besides, it only has one press turn, so the Kunda is actually a freebie when he uses it. The game will tell you when the tiers change when Mizuchi is actually gonna talk at you. Every time he does, he uses Mirage. This time, everyone in my party get panicked, but in a stroke of luck, I'm able to use the Sacred Water, heal everyone and keep attacking. When the third phase comes up, Mirage panicked everyone again. But again, luckily, I managed to use Sacred Water. At this point though, he's a joke of a boss. You could just put auto battle on and you will win without having any other issues. After the fight, I get the Miasma Magatama and finally meet Fudomimi, the mannequin that can predict the near future. In the next room, I find Isamu, although he's a little different. He says he can't rely on others anymore, he doesn't want to look for Mr. Cow anymore, and enters the Amala network to find the power he thinks he needs. As I leave the prison, Fudomimi tells me that there's a man waiting for me in Ginza and leaves with the rest of the mannequins. So I warp to Ginza and find Hijiri, who asks me to head to Asakusa via the East Ikebukuro tunnel, since there may be a terminal not under Hikawa's control. Well, we got our next plot objective, but first, I think it's time to A, get more chakra drops because I'm actually running short, and B, I think it's time to go for a little overdue detour. And that's it for this video. It took me actually 3 hours in total to record this part, but I'm overall happy with the results. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and a comment, subscribe for more, and until next time, this has been Mahabu Raven. I hope you stay safe and stay well. Goodbye!